Hello again, Russell Pearson, another Rusty production. This episode is more of me making mistakes, more of me just trying to put a forge together so I can start blacksmithing. So without further ado, what we're going to do is actually start putting together the struts and then actually anchor the drum forge to the frame I've got. So I'll show you what I'm trying to do.
Alright, so we're going to try a bit of virtual reality here. This is, look, ooh, yes, virtual reality. Here's my drum. That's the brake drum. And so just to give you an understanding of what's going on, I've got this base plate, which is what our drum forge is going to be sitting on. And I've got these pieces of metal, which are some hollow pieces of about 3 mil, actually it's probably a little bit more than that, steel. And we're going to be basically welding these to the frame so that we can create a base, which we're going to put this larger sheet of steel on. One of the things we're going to do is, you see this hole over here, we're actually going to be making that so that we can put a bolt down through it. And then that bolt we're actually going to have to join in against one of these struts here. So once we've got it in here, it's not going to move back and forward much, and in fact it's ideally not going to move much like that at all, because we'll anchor some more struts across here and here. Probably a cleaner way for me to do this, but this is what we're going to do. Then basically what's going to happen after that is we grab our brake drum that will actually line up against these holes, pretty much like that. We'll grab a bolt or two, and we're going to do a bit of this. So the bolt will go down through this bracket, that'll sit through the hole, and as long as I get the strut in the right spot, that'll sit neatly like that. We'll get our second, I guess, firewall, probably a better name for it, let me know in the comments. Put another one through like that. We'll also screw that in the back there like so. We're going to have the bellows, or the inflow, coming through this way. It's going to come up through the up through, what was I calling it? I was calling it the plug. It's going to come up through there, and ideally we're going to be able to use this area to do our metal work. So that's the idea. So one of the other things I'm going to be doing as well is I've got, where is it? Don't think I've got it here out the front. I've got a little bit more. Oh yeah, this right here. Got a bit more of this. Which basically what we're going to do is we're going to weld that up under here, and that's going to also create a like a shelf that I can actually put a piece of sheet metal. It's actually going to run all the way around here. I can put some tools on there, and I can put some additional coke or coal as I'm working, and we will need to eventually cut a hole out of that so that the drum forge sits into that sheet metal. So ideally it'll run right up into the corner here. So that's what I'm about to do today. And the only other thing is that actually when I've got this part of it done, it's pretty much right to try out. The only thing I need to do is the final bit of welding, where I'll get the final thing. Hang on one second. Hopefully in the earlier videos you recall this piece. So we've got our input valve coming into, hang on, let me just put this down for a sec. Our input valve will come in here. It's being screwed on, and let's see if you recall which one that was. Here it is. This is one of the first pieces that I put together, and look, that is starting to rust already. That is amazing how quickly that happened. Tips in the comments if there's a way other than just oiling it down, which is probably something I should have done in the first place, to prevent stuff like rust. So that's going to be going on to the side of here, like so. and then ideally that'll sit underneath the drum here, and this square pipe here will actually be welded on the top underneath into the drum forge itself. So and if you recall, this is my little chamber opening there. I can let the slag and what have you out as we go, and that's going to have a little bit more weight up this end, so it actually holds completely closed, just thanks to a little thing called gravity. So it doesn't actually take too much more weight to actually make that 100% close. I have tried it even just with a simple magnet. So I'll get cracking now. Just a whole bunch of welding to do, and I'll show you a little bit of that, but we'll skip a lot of it because it's just putting some points on a whole bunch of different things, and then we'll come back and see how we went. Right, that's not a bad angle, is it? You should be able to see most of the stuff I'm going to be doing. Basically, I've lined up the piece of steel plate here with the holes pretty much where I want them, so that they can just sit neatly on top of that when I'm finished. And like I said before, we'll put a bolt through here, through that hole there, to connect it to these struts. So one thing, and here's a little tip for anybody who's looking to do some of this in their own backyard. It's night time. My neighbours don't want to hear me grinding all night, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. But I'm talking about the angle grinder, because I've been using it over the last couple of nights, and I'm not 100% sure that they're happy with me doing that. So what I'm going to do is try and reduce the amount of angle grinding I'm doing at night, which means that these end pieces of the struts, and hopefully you can see that they go all the way out, and they go out by about, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches past the edge of my frame, and I will cut them off. But for the moment, what I'll do is I'll just weld them where they are, and I'll cut them afterwards, and then we'll grind off the edges and make it a little bit neater. So we're just going to put a couple of tacks on this, and ideally when it's in there, I'll take the steel off, and then we can finish it off. Clearly not the best angle for this. Alright, those tacks are on there, so let me just turn all this around and I'll spot finish it off. Okay, so all those tacks are on there now. I'm just going to take the sheet metal off and just clean it up a little bit. Right, so we've made our welds along each of the edges here, and that is on there 100%, so I'll be able to grind off the excess steel here. And I've also tacked underneath here as well, just to make sure that's not going anywhere. So that is on there pretty securely, and I'm fairly happy with it. I'm going to call them wings. Our wings are done, and our plug is in. So this will actually sit quite neatly right here, and that'll go up against the edge of the point there. So that's basically what it's going to be like. So
Wings will be in there. The coal and the coke are going to go inside, and I think we'll be able to get that working pretty well. So, final thing I'm going to do, not tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow, is the inflow valves that are going to go up into here, and then I might start it up. Exciting stuff. Then we'll actually have this forge running.